Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to Wrestle Rock with Rick Connor.
What the F was that entire freaking promo about?
Mark Hallbacher.
She's like the James Ellsworth of women.
And Cory Castle.
I look like Paul London and Brian Kendrick mixed.
New technology doesn't work super great. What's going on, everybody? I'm just pushing everybody around. It's all crazy. Welcome to Wrestle Rock, everybody. I forgot today was Sunday. I completely forgot the day of the week it was. And I was thinking that today was Saturday, so we almost didn't have a show today due to my ignorance.
Yes,
so sorry about that.
I forgot it was Sunday also, so you weren't alone in that.
Yeah, I don't know how it is. I don't know how it is anymore, like in your guys' neighborhoods. But if you remember in the old old Northeast, you would grow up and you knew what day Sunday was because even if you slept late and your windows were open, you would hear people screaming at the TVs all up and down the street from watching football, and that's how you knew it was like Sunday.
That's a good clue.
That happens in my neighborhood too. So I mean,
yeah.
I guess I got better at tuning that out and just staying asleep if I want to.
Not me. I got the Eagles game on right now.
And sports for you, man. Sports is back, and we're all going to take a hit for it, all us non-sports fans.
Yeah, Raw's probably going to take a hit with Monday Night Football, but the game lineups aren't the greatest, so we'll see.
Yeah. It'll be all right, though. They seem to be doing okay. Raw came back strong this way. It was kept on saying, "Oh, Raw is in your face this week. It's in your face." They kept on saying. They said it like 27 times. Raw is in your face. But
yeah,
I got to give it to them.
They really love those buzzwords. They really like to force them down your throat.
Yeah,
well, they had another one too. They were hardcore doing. I just can't remember it now.
So is that what it is now? Are they going to do like a theme like every Monday?
No, I think it was in your face because everyone's face is up on the screens. I think that's the reason they're doing it. I mean, that's just my guess. My guess it's in your face because everyone's face is there. But I mean, I could be way wrong. But that's what my assumption was.
Okay, because it did make no sense to me. Whatever was going on, like why they had to have a theme for a Monday night show. So everything's in your face. Mickey James is in your face. It was just like it made no sense whatsoever.
This is really beating you over the head with it. In your head. We're gonna get it in your head by saying it all this much. This in your face will be in your head.
Speaking of Mickey James, man, did that ref screw that match up?
Oh dear God, that was bad, man.
That was not the girls. That ref botched that finish and called the bell. Way before it, Mickey James is literally sitting in the ring with her arms out, like, "What are you doing?"
I mean, it's the kind of thing that happens. I mean, most likely she was supposed to tap out to the Oscar lock. I think it just didn't happen. Like it didn't get to that point in the match yet. And the ref was like, "Oh, this is the finish. I'm calling for the bell," and just I don't know, jump the gun, I guess.
Yeah, I think what Mickey and Oscar were going for is Mickey to roll in the Oscar lock to make it look like she was going to get out of it, and then Oscar was supposed to roll back into the Oscar lock, and the guy called it before it even happened. Because they were in a weird position where Mickey was like butt over tea kettle type, and Oscar was rolling her, and the guy's like, "That's it, match over." It's like, did he pin her? Did she? I don't know. He saw a tap. I was like, where? Like, it was such a weird. And I was starting to really get into that match too because those girls work really well together. It was a little clunky here and there, but I mean, it wasn't their NXT match, but they still put on a really solid match.
Something like that happened the week before with Ricochet, where Ricochet was it was the finish of the match, and Ricochet got pinned, but he kicked out on 3 or after 2 or whatever, and the referee counted 3 anyway, and called for the bell. And even Michael Cole,
they screwed him.
It's Montreal screw jobs everywhere.
It was a Thunderdome screw job. Thunderdome screw job.
Hey, Ricochet just stands up and does the AEW into the.
Yeah, but I mean, things happen. But I mean, there were so many good things that happened on Monday Night Raw too that it kind of overshadowed it, if you ask me. The Rollins match, the steel cage match with Dominic, I thought was fantastic. I thought they did a really good job with that.
They did.
And yeah, I don't know if that's going to be the end of the feud or whatever.
They're like trying. It's like trial by fire. Like, we're going to force you to get good. We're just going to throw you into main event matches on Monday Night Raw against one of the best in the business and force you to be bad. Go ahead. Try to be bad. You can't, because this is Seth Rollins.
I don't know. That kid to me looks better every single week. Every week he looks like he just gets a little bit better every week. I mean, that match was great. I still think his slide out of the ring into that sunset powerbomb from last week was insane. But he did a lot. He looked smooth in there with Rollins. I mean, you got to give Rollins a lot of credit for that match too, because it's Seth.
Yeah.
But this kid's getting better every week, and it's really cool to see. It's like watching old NXT where you watch people like get better as the weeks would go on, because it was an actual developmental back in the day. But yeah, it's really cool to see. I just hope they go somewhere with it, and he doesn't fade away after this whole entire feud. I don't know how they're going to keep him hot after this.
Yeah. Who can they keep him in programs with that people are going to care about? It's like, yeah, it seems like a real novelty act, and it seems like a real. I don't want to call it a nostalgia pop because there's no nostalgia for Dominic really, except for the fact that he, his custody was hanging in the balance at SummerSlam 2005.
Yeah. It's actually Eddie's kid, damn it. It's not your son, Ray. It's not your son. If they pull that gimmick out, if they bring up that old storyline, oh my God, that would be so great.
Vicky Guerrero shows up with papers. Excuse me, Dominic. I'm your mama. Beats up Jeannie or whatever her name is.
But I would like to see him do some kind of. That would be cool if they did a storyline where he destroys Ray in the end, and then he puts some kind of shirt on that says Guerrero on it, and then basically he's calling himself Dominic Guerrero, and yeah, that would be cool, man. But they need to do something with him big, because I think he's going to fade quickly. I think this is a really good feud, but the problem is the kid doesn't have the personality to carry himself. He's still kind of really bland.
Yeah, it's fun. Did you watch the SummerSlam 24 hours thing? Day of?
No.
They did it on the network. It was Dominick Mysterio. He was like, I'm nervous right now, and it's kind of funny because it's 15 years later. Eddie Guerrero, my Uncle Eddie, he would be so proud. And it was he was just such a little blank, he just isn't somebody yet. He'll be there. It's just
he's young.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is he's young right now, but they have to do something with it because they have to keep it going, because if they take him off TV for too long, he's going to be forgotten about unless they keep him with Ray. And if they keep him on TV for too long, he's going to run out of steam. He's going to go the way of what's his name, Carrillo or Carrillo, whatever that guy's name was, Humberto.
Yeah,
Carrillo.
exactly.
I think it was,
Exactly.
I don't even remember his name anymore.
Just how you're talking like that, exactly. He's just gone.
Yeah.
And his cousin Hector Garza is on television every week because of his personality. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's great when his son here. Yeah, I think they're cousins, right? Are they cousins or brothers? They're both related to Hector Garza.
The more you did know.
The more you bum, 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 bum. But yeah, man. Raw was I thought was really good. For the first time in weeks. Cedric Alexander and Ricochet were fantastic. The Hurt Business in general were great. I don't know what was up with the Retribution, a lot of people are done with that gimmick and they're saying it's crap, and I understand that due to the promos and everything like that. Pretty much everybody knows who they are at this point. We know it's Dijakovic.
You were talking about the graphic a couple shows ago, and I was looking at it. And it reminded me. Do you remember the video game Tony Hawk's Underground? Tony Hawk Pro Skater Underground, where like you'd have to go around and spray paint stuff. That's exactly what their logo looks like. It looks like you had to spray paint that on a wall in Tony Hawk Pro Skater Underground video game.
Yeah. It looks like a computer-generated font of somebody spraying, spray painting a wall, somebody doing graffiti. And the promos are not very good. We know about it was released this week. Somebody picked it all out. It was Dijakovic, Mercedes Martinez, Mia Yim, Dio Madden, I think. Yeah, Dio surprised me. Yeah, so Dio Madden's coming back with something to prove, I guess. I forget who the fifth guy was that they pointed out, but yeah, it's they're pretty much all called out at this point. We got to do a.
Do you know?
What's that?
Who should be
There's a rumor that Mojo Rawley's one of them.
You know who should be like the leader of it? Chad Gable. They should make that dude like the leader of it because he has really like they put him in stupid little shorts and called him Shorty G. Come on, like if anyone wants retribution, it should be that guy.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, Shorty G. Even before Shorty G, he was teaming with Shelton Benjamin and other people that
Bobby Roode. Who wants that? Who wants that?
Nobody wants that.
Just made him wear the same robe as Bobby Roode and do this. Like, what the hell?
You just said that. Where the hell is Bob Roode? Like, where is Bob?
I don't know.
I haven't seen him since
I don't know. Maybe he's the leader. Maybe he's going to be the leader of Retribution.
Sabbatical.
Is it that or he just tested positive and they just sing that now? It's about positive. Everybody wears masks around him when he comes out.
Yeah, man. But yeah, a lot of stuff went down. They so Raw was really good. I think SmackDown was even better. They're really up in their game. I don't know what they changed. Is Pritchard still in charge of the writing, or like what's going on? Because it's starting to get rumor.
There's a rumor that Daniel Bryan's involved in the writing.
Oh, really?
So that's been the small rumors. He's been involved in helping out with the writing of the shows, and if that's true, that makes a lot of sense how the show's been going. I think the programs are a little tighter. I think. You got the Miz storyline, which is goofy, but it fits Otis's character perfectly. So I actually enjoy it. I think it's fun. Like they separate him for his girlfriend. Now they're like giving him like a BS lawsuit for his contract, and it fits the Miz too. Miz fits in those weird, quirky storylines like that. So I think that one's fun.
Miz fits. That should be his T-shirt.
And Alexa Bliss, like it's kind of hokey, but I'm still intrigued to see where it's going. So I haven't gotten bored with it yet.
Her giving the Sister Abigail to Lacey Evans on SmackDown was kind of neat. But I don't understand. Is it like is she trying to like keep up a relationship with the Nikki Crisscross Applesauce?
Yeah.
Okay. Is she gonna be in the Wyatt family too?
No, I think she's gonna destroy Nikki, and that's gonna be when she moves into the Wyatt family. But I don't know. There's rumors that the Wyatt family's gonna go turn into good guys, and then they're gonna war with Roman Reigns. So I don't know. Everybody makes up these dumb rumors, so I don't know if they're true or not. But I would think she would destroy Nikki Cross, and that's her full transformation into being part of it. And then, like I said, the other rumors that I heard about the Wyatt family was Lars Sullivan and Bo Dallas. So I don't know how that's going to work.
Bo Dallas, I've been wanting that for a while.
Everybody has.
Lars Sullivan, I could give two S's about that. at all. I don't care a tiny bit. It's like an amazing credit card offer because I have 0% interest in it.
It's a Braun Strowman retread with less personality. You're basically just getting another like you what were we calling it before, like super boss level bad guy.
Right.
Like he's super strong and nobody can beat him, but he has less personality. And it's
didn't he get like canceled for like a bunch of homophobic stuff?
He paid a lot of money and said he was sorry. That's all I know.
Okay, well, they're hands clean. Everything's fine.
I know he got fined a lot of money.
It happens.
And then I'm sorry. Didn't it come out after that he did like some homosexual pornography, like in his younger days?
I didn't hear all that.
Somebody look into that.
No,
I'm not gonna. But somebody else who's listening, look into that. Let us know in the comments below.
There's a few people.
I just see Matt Flowers like Lars Sullivan.
If it was just about anybody else, I'd be like, yeah, I'll check it out. Why not? I'll make sure. I'll do it for research. Lars Sullivan. I'm like, you know what? I'll let that story go. I don't need it resolved. Anybody else might check it out.
I just see the next time Matt joins us for a live stream, he just puts on the phone and just turns his phone like this the whole time we're trying to just keeps showing Lars Sullivan porn over.
Yeah, man. So the SmackDown this past week, you mentioned Otis. I'm loving this storyline. It's a little cheesy. It's a little on the cheesy side, and it's a little too jokey. But at the same time, like you had Miz out there in the beginning of the show running his mouth, and he switched Mandy Rose over to Raw, and Otis needs to get his head on straight and yada yada. Like he's running his mouth, and then Otis just charges the ring and just cleans house, and that hasn't happened in a while. Like that sounds like an old trope of wrestling, but when was the last time that actually happened? Like, when was the last time you remember, like, a heel charging the ring and just beating someone up? Like, usually the heel or the face comes out and, like, cuts a promo back. It's like, oh, you wanted this? Well, we're going to have a match later and blah, blah, blah. This was just Otis being pissed off, and I liked it. I was here for it, man. Mm-hmm. I thought it was awesome.
It was interesting, for sure. It was something different than what we've seen for – because, like, it seems like there's been a formula that – weekly shows have turned into for years and years in WWE. And weeks can feel like years and years when you follow that exact formula for just a little bit too long. So it's a good change of pace to see like something a little bit different. And with that being said, I have to say the fact that they gave us Sami Zayn and AJ Styles on free TV, what a treat. What a real treat for us. This is an amazing match.
Yeah, they've been working the Intercontinental storyline. That's all been on television. We've had SummerSlam and Payback since that storyline started, and that has just been on SmackDown, which I actually like. Like I think it now they're building up towards Clash of Champions, and this is all going to come to a head in a 3-way ladder match, which I think is great. But I love the build to this, and I love that it's all been on SmackDown. We haven't gotten a resolution at a pay-per-view yet for 2 months. I think that's great. They kept my interest the entire time.
And Mark, weren't you just saying this about like AEW's last pay-per-view was all like furthering their storylines?
Yeah.
And it's like their pay-per-views aren't on a network that you can pay $10 a month for. You have to like go out of your way and put a ton more effort into getting their actual pay-per-views.
That's why I was upset about it, because you have to spend all this money to watch them. WWE can afford it more because we're only paying, like most people only paying $10. It's still annoying, but we're paying $10 a month. So a major pay-per-view comes up, they can use a pay-per-view to basically further storylines. It sucks, but they can do it. But when you're paying $70 for an HD, or $60 or whatever it is for an HD pay-per-view, AEW should not do that. But
is it only on Bleacher Report or is it on like regular ass TV pay-per-view?
It's on Fight TV and Bleacher Report. because Fight TV you can get ROH for free. I think they have a live show. I think it's every Monday night. I think at 8:00.
I have the Fight TV app on my TV, but I have to say I have not looked at it for months. Like, I don't even know why it's even still on the TV. I don't have any interest at all.
I think it's one of those things where you have to get it's like a $10 a month service if you're getting anything. But if you want the pay-per-views, like the AEW pay-per-view, you have to pay. Well, I don't know what it is. It's like $50 extra or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a free app and you have to pay for the pay-per-views.
I think that's what it is. I haven't used it. I downloaded it thinking that AEW, the regular show, would be on Fight TV so I could watch it that way since I don't have cable right now. And I was wrong.
Yeah, there's probably some sort of like some kind of deal with Turner. Like I tried to get the TNT app, but I also don't have cable or a provider, so I couldn't watch the program.
Yeah.
Before we keep continuing SmackDown, if you want to go with AEW, I don't know if any of you guys got to watch that main event, but the Best Friends and we're the two guys from the Inner Circle, the tag team. They gave him a different
the SAT guys. I mean, I'm sorry, the LAX dudes. They were the LAX.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Proud and Powerful is the name.
What a match!
Is that what their name is? That's their name of the tag team.
Yeah, they're not called LAX there. Yeah.
Trent Beretta took a he took like a power bomb or some form of slam into a windshield, and then he didn't pull himself off the windshield. He slid down the car, and then 2 minutes later there was just blood everywhere. But he did his one finisher, the crunchy or whatever they call it, which is looks like a modified vertebraker, like in the bed of a pickup through a board. It was sick, man. It was a really good match, really fun match. Like I said, the only way to catch AEW right now is through the clips. But the good thing about AEW compared to WWE is WWE's clips on YouTube are like 2 minutes long, 2.5 minutes long. AEW gives like 5-6 minutes, so you get like almost a full match, and you can still understand what's going on in a match too with that much time. So if you haven't had a chance, it's a really solid match to check out.
Definitely, man. Also, speaking of AEW, Ivelisse and Thunder Rosa ended up having a legit shoot fight in the middle of the ring. Apparently, it's been reported that like there was some kind of disagreement in the back right before their match, and they just went out and legit started beating the crap out of each other. And it was a brutal match to watch, and it didn't really come out until after the fact. But looking back at it, it's like, yeah, that really looked like they were beating the legit crap out of each other. And it was rough. And it's what's more than this is they're supposed to be teaming next week. So interested to see what's going to happen next week, if they're going to get their crap together or if they're if they're still going to be fighting, or maybe they're going to cancel the match or something.
I hope they figure it out.
I enjoyed it. The girls lit each other up. They just started beating on each other. It was I enjoyed it. Like, it was nice. It was different for a women's match, even though they were for real hitting each other. It was just to see something different. And Thunder Rosa is just, thank God, AEW should be getting on their hands and knees and thanking that girl every day for being there, because their women's division has been garbage until that girl showed up.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
I'm really happy she's there. I'm really happy she's there and she's helping that program. So
another thing I wanted to talk about was NXT this week. Not a whole lot going on. They're building up to a female battle royal. I don't know how it's going to work, how many people are going to be in it with the whole pandemic thing, and people are supposed to be social distancing and everything like that. They're not supposed to be having things like battle royals. But there's been a lot of build up with who was it? Gargano's wife that I can't remember her name.
Candice LeRae.
What is it?
Candice LeRae.
Candice LeRae, and who's she going after? It's not Dakota Kai. The Tara.
Knox.
Tegan Knox. Yes, thank you. Jeez, brain fart. I complained about the AEW women's division, and yet I can't remember a single name of the NXT women's division. But yeah, they were building that up a lot. I'm not digging that storyline too much. All the everything going on at the Gargano home with their having dinner, and somebody threw a remote through Johnny's TV and he's all pissed off about it and all this other stuff. It's like, it's a bunch of weird stuff, but it's leading up to a battle royal, and I don't think either of them are gonna win it. I'm thinking they're probably gonna go back to Rhea Ripley. I imagine they've
been pushing Rhea real hard. I really think she's going to be the winner. I think they're just going to further the Tegan Knox storyline and then have them maybe wrestle each other at the next takeover, and then one of those get to wrestle for the title, I guess. I don't know. I see them putting the belt back on Rhea Ripley. And if you do that, then what are you going to do with Tegan Knox or anybody? Because they're not going to beat Rhea Ripley. So, like, I don't know. Maybe they avoid that for a while and just keep stretching her out. But we already see that Mercedes Martinez is part of Retribution. So, like, do they have her beat Mercedes and she goes away? I don't know what they're gonna do.
I don't know. Well, I think the end of it was that cage match they had with Ripley and Mercedes. That was kind of the end of her with the Robert Stone brand. It looked like it. There was a one of those network exclusive things on YouTube that I saw where Robert Stone was trying to hand a restraining order to Mercedes. It's like, yeah, we're just going our separate ways, and you need to stay away from me, and blah blah blah. It was dumb. It was one of those little 3-minute network exclusive deals on YouTube. But I think that's basically them saying, yeah, Mercedes is going to the main roster, and good luck to you. So I don't know.
To the group where they need to tweak the Evolution theme song. Retribution is not a mystery.
Retribution is not a mystery.
Yeah, man. Retribution, it's not doing too great, but the end of Raw was great. With them coming down, beating up Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre, and then the Hurt Business coming out like big giant badasses. Like, I love the hell out of that. I don't know if that makes them faces or whatever, but it was great. I really enjoyed seeing that.
I love how they're going with the old school Four Horsemen look, where they're all in suits when they're not wrestling and making themselves look like these professional badasses.
Professionals, yes. I like that a lot. I mean, it says business in their faction name, so them being in business makes tons of sense.
And MVP is our mouthpiece. He's just killing it. Just this whole introduction of, like, Cedric Alexander and basically telling him how he's like, whatever, cashing his stock options in or whatever, and whatever he said become part of their. I really liked how he did that, and he incorporates that into what their group is. And I forgot how good MVP was, man, because he just disappeared one day in WWE and went to Japan for.
There was really no closure to him being missing. Like, there was no like storyline that took him out. He wasn't on a sabbatical. There's no explanation for him not being there. And if there was and I missed it, I'm sorry. I should have been paying more attention.
It might have been. There very well could have been. It could have been one of those throwaway WWE things. It's like, what happened to the not the Riot Squad. What's that? The Spirit Squad? Oh yeah, DX put them in a container and sent them to Japan or something, or wherever the hell it was.
It was OVW, wasn't it? They sent them OVW.
Maybe it was. It was just one of those random.
This engine of weekly television, producing weekly television, you forget what happens so often. If you're watching it, you get kind of like lost in the flow of it. It's going so fast sometimes, especially. We've been talking about for a long time on the show about how, like, they start and resolve a thing so often, like in one night, and there's like not a time. There's not time to marinate in the emotions in the story, So
what it's been,
for anything,
right. Yeah, it's very, very true. But I'm glad MVP's back. I think he's doing a kick-ass job, and
Yes.
I'm loving the Hurt Business. I love that both Lashley and Cedric went to the back, got changed into suits just to come out later and beat somebody up. Like that's awesome.
This for sure is my favorite version of MVP so far. Like,
Oh yeah,
this is the best he's ever been. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, he was always good, but he wasn't this good.
Moving on down to let's stay with NXT for a while. I think we were on NXT originally, but
Yeah, we're talking about a bunch of people whose names you couldn't remember.
Yeah, all those names that I can't remember. But me and Mark were talking off air about the Drake Maverick and Killian Dain storyline that's going on. Mark, you're sitting there rolling your eyes now. You just don't. You're up in that.
So, everybody knows I listen to. I follow Simon Miller. There's this trend in WWE is just getting out of control. One is tag teams breaking up, and two is I hate you, you hate me, but let's make a tag team because we both hate these other two people more. And they're doing that right now with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And what's NXT do? They do the same thing with Drake Maverick and Killian Dain. And don't get me wrong, out of all four of those people, Drake Maverick has more personality and he can suck you in better than any of the other people. But I'm still like, This sucks. Like, I'm watching this already on Raw. Why am I watching this on NXT? And it just, I don't know. It's a shame because I really think they dropped the ball with Drake Maverick with the whole firing storyline.
And it could have been something way bigger and better than it wound up being. And it's probably that same like the show goes on. You know what I mean? The show goes on. So sometimes if people weren't giving it enough attention, they just go on to the next thing, without seeing it through and finding what we could have done with it.
Well, that's exactly what happened. They never got a real finish with Drake Maverick. And now Swerve is fighting for the Cruiserweight title. And they just dropped Drake Maverick entirely. And now he's in this tag team battle. And it's like, wait a minute. Like, what about him in the Cruiserweight Championship? That was actually a really good storyline. And it was only Drake Maverick that he made Ligaro. What do they call it? Something Ligaro? Whatever. He made all them. He made them more impactful as bad guys because I thought they were kind of bland, and he was the one that was making them look like they were actual real bad guys because he's just good. His facial expressions, how he sells, he knows how to be a babyface better than 90% of wrestlers in the business. Like, and he uses his stature to make him look, like an even bigger babyface.
Mm-hmm. It's like he has that James Ellsworth body, but with an actual face and personality that can actually get over.
Well,
and he has a chair.
He has an actual decent looking face. No, I understand what you're saying, Mark, with the storyline and the Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax thing, kind of doing the same thing, but I don't see this as that. I see this more of a if you remember the Stone Cold Steve Austin Dude Love storyline, where Dude Love was like, yes, I need to be your partner. Me and you are so alike. We can get this done. We can go after the tag titles. And Austin just keeps on stunner every single week. I think this is a very similar to that, where you're eventually going to get to a point where there's going to be a handshake between the two of them. And if there was a crowd, they would pop. I think it's one of those things where at least maybe that's what they're going for. And that's what I'm going to see. That's why I'm into it. I'm here for love, damn it.
But the thing though is we're comparing that to Mick Foley and Steve Austin.
Yeah, I know.
Don't get me wrong. Like I said, Drake Maverick's personalities could work if he had a bigger personality that was kind of a douche to him and trying to convince him. But like Killian Dain, like that's a guy. Like I like Killian Dain. I think he's a really solid wrestler. But personality-wise, really, Killian Dain, all the guys you could have picked.
I could actually see him as I could actually see Killian Dain more as a Wyatt family member than Lars Sullivan.
Yes.
I think I could see that being a more believable, like, personality fit.
I can barely remember what Lars Sullivan looks like. He has been off TV for so long. I thought he was just done.
He looks like a Mego doll. If you guys remember Mego dolls, someone took a giant big body of another doll and put it on its legs. His waist up is just like this wide, and he has really big legs, but he's got like hips that are like this wide. He just looks really. He's got a weird body. He's just a weird man.
He does kind of look like if Stretch Armstrong was a ginger.
What?
Isn't he bald?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lars Sullivan. How could he be a ginger?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Are we back to the porn thing? Is this back to the seeing him naked again? Is that how we're seeing all the hair? I'm just saying.
We back to the porn thing? No, I wasn't.
All right, moving on. Damn it. Something good in NXT that we can all agree on, I think, is Kushida. They really pushed him solid this week. I think they did it last week as well. Just that intensity is back that we saw in New Japan. We have not seen that yet in WWE, in NXT at all. It's been great. What's his name? Wade Barrett's putting him over on commentary like crazy. Who is this new Kushida that we're seeing? We had a spot last year, I think it was, with Kushida where somebody literally picked him up and threw him into a trash can. They literally threw out Kushida. So this is a much needed gimmick change, and I think it's only going to be good for him, and it's going to be great for us. What do you guys think?
I think NXT has a bad habit, like all of WWE's. They hire sometimes too many guys, and then it takes a while for them to go, oh wait, we have Kushida, and it's like
they lose who they want to do cool
best
stuff
wrestlers in Japan.
Too many people that they're doing so many things with, so it's like almost impossible to use everyone the correct way.
Yeah. And we have like NXT tends to put people, like, no offense to like the Bronson Reeds or I don't mind watching them wrestle, but I'd rather see someone of the talent level Kushida has wrestling, than watching a lot of these developmental people. But I'm glad they finally realized they have him, and hopefully they do something in the storyline with him.
They should have like another NXT, there should be like an NXT Junior. So it's like an actual developmental, because NXT isn't a developmental anymore. It needs to be they need to have NXT parentheses developmental. Like,
isn't that what Evolve is?
Isn't that
Evolve? I thought. I really thought that's what that was. I thought Evolve became NXT and NXT became part of the main roster.
Well, no, I think Evolve was just like Gabe's place that he books. Like, I thought that was just like another indie that like was booked by Gabe Sapolsky. I didn't think that was a developmental. I think it was just another indie. But WWE has its footage. Like, I didn't think that it's actually a WWE production.
Oh no, it's not a production.
Speaking of that, I gotta get a hold of Trevin, man. I hit him up and he got back to me like 3 a.m. one day, and then I answered him back and never heard from him. So I'm gonna try getting him back on here.
He got back to you at 3 a.m. He's drunk finally.
I don't know. He walked the dog really late, from what I remember. When Rick and I did the podcast, when we did a really late podcast with him, and he was walking his dog around Florida at like late at night. So I guess he was just checking his phone and saw that I hit him up. But I'm gonna try getting a hold of him, try to get him to talk about Evolve and all, because apparently, their stuff's showing up a lot on the WWE network. I was watching the best of Keith Lee and Evolve, but it was all Dijak matches again. And it's like, all right, I've seen like a billion of these in NXT. I know what these guys can do. Can I see them wrestle somebody else?
Well, that's all I meant by that was, we've seen so many guys get pulled from Evolve that it's pretty much NXT developmental, like not so much WWE. It's like we're going to take these guys that are great in Evolve and we're just going to move them right over into NXT. I don't know. That's kind of how I took it.
Do you think Gabe just says "damn it" a lot while he's in Evolve? He's like, we're gonna book Keith Lee. We're gonna book Keith Lee versus what? Keith Lee left. Damn it! All right, we got all day. He's just got to like rewrite.
There was a switching topics real quick. There was a story I came across on. I believe this was reported by Wall Culture Wrestling. Before that, I think it was the Wrestling Observer or something. Oh no, this was directly from the Chris Jericho's podcast. He was talking to Luke Gallows, saying that Luke Gallows had his own promotion while being booked in WWE. He kind of did it on the down low, pretty much. He was booking for some company. They didn't say what company it was. He was putting together shows constantly, and WWE got wind of this, and they were like, "Yeah, you can't do that. You're under contract with us." And Gallows turned around and said, "Okay, I won't do it anymore." So all I did was change the name and just kind of kept it on the down low. It's like, what? That promotion? No, that's done. This other promotion? I don't know what you're talking about. So it's funny. He kept on booking for this. He kept on running this promotion while under WWE contract.
It's like if you join a union, like if you were an actor and you joined SAG, and then someone was like, "Oh, I got this non-union gig. You want to work it?" And like, all right, technically I can't work it, but I mean, like, you're gonna pay me to do it? Nah, I guess I'm gonna do it. Like,
right.
It goes back to the weird WWE thing where they're supposed to be independent contractors, but then they're not allowed to do anything on the side.
right.
And Luke's my hero for just going, yeah, well, I'm going to do it anyway. And he just changed the name of his organization and ran it again. And he said he sold it. I think on there he told him that he sold his federation or whatever.
He's like, you know it to work, right?
But I haven't had a chance to listen to that podcast yet, but it's always my favorite is when the Talking Shop guys show up on Jericho. It's always a fun show. So I got to listen to that one.
But that leads into the big story of the week. I think was the financial report was released from WWE, and they found out that WWE is only paying 8% of its revenue to its wrestlers, which is insanely low. They compared it to UFC. UFC is paying 20%, and big sports like NBA and NFL are paying 50%. So considering WWE is reporting record-breaking finances this year, record-breaking gains, record-breaking revenue, and they're only shilling out 8% to its independent contractors.
So the business of wrestling must also evolve. I mean, develop the fact. Like, I think as wrestlers and as performers, we've been such a part of like such a small niche of what works. Like as far as like, it's like we kind of accept a role in the fact that we know that we're not going to get the respect that real athletes get. Like, and so WWE or the industry in this scenario has already understood that like we don't respect ourselves enough to demand it, or so it's almost systemic. You know what I mean? It's just like we've been so programmed to go like, oh, we're gonna get what we can because there's so many of us and so few jobs. There's so few opportunities to make a living inside of this business, and like getting people to part with their money is so tough. So when we get it, we're going to take a bunch of it, and we're going to give you whatever you'll take.
Yeah.
And
whatever we can.
It's hard. Really.
I mean, this is the reason that Rey Mysterio didn't sign right away when his contract was up. He didn't re-sign right away. He went and he was a free agent for a while. And he re-signed until it's like, no, you're going to at least take my son. If this is all you're paying me, then we're going to get my son on these shows. At least that's the report anyway. But
the rosters should strike, really, honestly. If that report came out and it's public knowledge, it's public record, like the rosters should strike. Like that should be it. Like they should be like, well, you're reporting record-breaking financial gains, and it comes out that you only pay us less than 10% of what your income is. F you. We're going to start a union. That should have been that's what Jesse Ventura wanted to do. That's why he had a falling out from WWE. Like this is the worst, like systemic problem of like wrestlers' worth being what they tell you it is versus what it actually is.
Well, I think the only reason they haven't done that yet is because there hasn't been a financial report from another wrestling company yet. Like AEW didn't release theirs, not yet anyway. So if they come out, if AEW and releases that, and if it's anything over 10%, then absolutely, yeah, I would definitely strike because it should be at least 20.
Not only that, you think AEW just started. They're in their first year?
Right.
Just going over the first year. They probably took a loss.
But it's also they're not a publicly traded company. They don't have the incredible licensing agreements that WWE has in the mainstream to license your image when your image is owned by them somehow, but you're not an employee still. Like you're making them money, but like somehow you're not entitled to certain benefits, and you're not going to get the kind of money that like LeBron James is going to get. Not saying like LeBron James, but it's saying any basketball player. LeBron James is a huge star in NBA.
Right.
Like any other basketball player, any other.
Yeah.
But dude, there's no pro wrestling class in high school. There's no pro wrestling team in school. There's a basketball team, there's a football team, there's a baseball team. Like we understand that we are not those athletes. So it's somehow like okay, well, most of the world goes, oh, that's BS. So oh, that stuff's for kids, and minimalize it. And like not Vince McMahon. JR will say, like, oh, wrestling fans get, like, fat shamed. It feels like fat shame. When you're talking about me liking wrestling, you're, like, going, oh, you must be stupid. It's like, why don't people just, like, get out of that? Look how much money's in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a real knock. It's a real industry. Wake up. Here it is.
Yeah, well, not only I would absolutely love it if the high schools all of a sudden started being like, yeah, this is our pro wrestling team.
Right.
That would be absolutely fantastic. I would love that.
It would never happen. No. I would not love that.
My high school didn't even have a wrestling team. Like I wanted to do actual wrestling because back when you're like 13, you think like if you join like a wrestling, you're going to be a pro wrestler, and then you have a bunch of monsters just stretch you out for like 4 years on the circle mat.
I was 1 year older than that when I started wrestling.
And then there's also the thing going back to the financial atrocity that the new guys coming up from NXT are getting paid less because there's not the travel expense and the hotel expense and the car rental expense and all that. So WWE turns around and says, all right, well, you don't need that money, so we're not going to pay it. So now wrestlers are starting to make less money than they already were, and they're still working pretty much the same schedule.
WWE should cut a check that's like a stimulus, like, sorry, we've sucked this whole time.
It's just one of those things like in what's going on in the world today is like with social media and our ability to get a hold of all this stuff, we're slowly learning like, yeah, we always knew Vince was kind of, and not a good person, but now you're starting to learn the real business side of Vince McMahon. It's like how much longer do they're independent contracts? Can they just walk from their contract? That's what makes no sense to me anyway. And like you're saying, Corey, they either should strike or they should all just walk. Like we should all sit down one night to watch Raw, and there's nobody on television, and they're apologizing because there's nobody there,
right?
And they're going to show you old clips of matches, but they never take.
They would just show that and act like because it's just corporate. It would just be corporate covering that up by not saying why. Like they're not going to ever explain it. Like they never even said the word coronavirus or pandemic in the fact that they were just like having empty arena stuff. Like it's like avoid reality of what it actually is. There's a thin line between what is good and what is evil, and they are tiptoeing down that line.
They're very much crossing that line, pretty much. Yeah, it's really rough, and I don't know if they can do it or not. The thing is, even if everybody strikes, if WWE has the legal resource to let all those people go, there's wrestlers out there now that will do it for free. You know, they will come in and just do it because, you know, I mean, not
yes,
if yeah. He's scabs line.
On an indie level, very way less than that, I have to say. And I shouldn't minimize myself by saying that. Anyway, not to say that it has any less value that I'm doing a very similar job for next to nothing, because, like, honestly, indie promoters won't pay you because other mother effers will do it for free. Who suck?
Yep.
Who suck? Yeah. But they're giving the same kind of content. They're not doing it as good as I'm doing it, but they're showing up, and they came from upstate New York, and they do it for $20. It's two of them. What? Like, I just want something. Like, I don't want to act like I'm just doing nothing with my stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I've committed at this point 20 plus years on this trade that now you're saying, like, oh, these two guys drive from upstate New York and they'll do it for 20. So feel worthless with your life, please. Thank you. It's annoying. So the fact that it's happening in the WWE too, and these are like actual performers who have been high earners in this business. Everybody who's in the WWE now are well paid compared to you and me. Like,
oh, sure.
Compared to a HVAC guy, or, you know what I mean? Like, just like a guy who cleans pools. Sure. Yeah, they're well paid. But when it comes to professional athletes, they're just okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there you go, folks. Wrestling sucks. At least the business part of wrestling sucks. I will say the business part. Yeah. All those finances in the WWE and everything that we just talked about, that officially loses wrestling for this week. But since we got a little bit of time left, let's talk about who wins wrestling this week.
Who wins wrestling? Blah, 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 blah.
Right now, I win wrestling for segues, but what do you guys got? Who wants to go?
I'm going with Big E. We didn't get a chance to talk about SmackDown.
I was going to say that too.
The reveal and how he destroyed Sheamus, and they're finally showing that he has more than just that goofy character, and that he can be.
And like, he beat up that security guard. So good. He can be security guard.
And a lot of people are behind this, man. A lot of people want to see Big E finally get his due. And he's a likable guy. He can wrestle. But yeah, to see that fire from him was really cool, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm going with him this week.
Yeah, I think before the end of the year, we're going to see at least a match between Big E and whoever the Universal Champion is. I think that's going to be a main event somewhere. Most likely Survivor Series. Maybe they can put it off into the Royal Rumble. I don't know if they're going to be able to drag it all the way to WrestleMania, because I think Kofi is ready to come back. Woods should be ready to return pretty soon, and I don't know if they're going to start teaming them up again or whatever they're going to do. Cory, what do you got for Who Wins Wrestling? Are you watching TV? The Passion Police? Really? What, is that just who's on TV now?
Yeah. No, but they're doing well. They're doing well. I like what I'm seeing. No, but I think Shotzi Blackheart, she was really bringing it with, I'm not the biggest fan of Io Shirai, but that was a good match. And I have to say, Shotzi got a lot of points in my book because she's a hell of a performer. So, going through that finish and still bleeding and making it through that match, somebody else would have maybe called that match and said all right, we're going to stop it. But she showed her toughness and got through it. So I'm going to say Shotzi.
Yeah, I think me and Mark were talking about that off air. You're talking about the moonsault where she pretty much caught both legs in the gut. Woo! Is that what it was?
That was not pretty.
And then that bump on the apron on the outside.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you. This week I was gonna go with Cesaro because he got us a 1-on-1 victory for the first time on SmackDown in God knows how long against Grand Metalik, which was awesome. And I think Cesaro should be pushed way more than he is. But we talked about it earlier. I'm gonna go with MVP. If there was a Who Wins Wrestling of the Year, I think it would have to go to MVP, considering where this guy started as just a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble earlier this year, back in January.
That no one even cared.
No, nobody even noticed. Everybody was like, "Oh, cool, MVP's back." Oh, Brock Lesnar threw him out. Nobody cared. And then the next night on Raw, I forget who he worked, but it was like, "Oh, okay, it's a one and done thing." And then it became, "Oh, he's going to host the MVP Lounge or whatever it's called every single week." And now he's one of the biggest stars in wrestling.
Yeah. Wasn't there a story he wanted to have his son see him perform in the WWE in the Royal Rumble, and it was a surprise to his head. And it was a cool little story, but it was very, very expendable. You know what I mean? It was a very disposable story. It was this is a cool little feel good one time thing. And it
went from that into the Hurt Business, which is the biggest faction that everybody's talking about. No one knew that was going to blow up the way it did, but it's fantastic, and I look forward to it every week. So, and we were just talking earlier about how he's a great mouthpiece, and he's really this is the best version of him so far. So yeah, I'm going with MVP this week.
Can I bring up a thing that's got me curious? And
sure.
And I have another idea for a segment that we should do on the show, but
okay.
I'm going to see if I have time. I mean, you might shoot me down. But what about that match on SmackDown made it a Samoan street fight, except for the fact that there was no disqualification and there was two Samoans in it? I'll wait.
But there's name one. Is that what your question was?
No. That's not the idea I have for the segment. I was going to say this after. The point I was making was, what made that a Samoan street fight? What about that street fight was very Samoan, other than it had two Samoans in it?
That was it. It also had two, one American and an Irishman in it, but
they all high five Samoa Joe as they went to the ring. He just sang girl.
They got the Samoan lock. Let's go, Samoa. Woo.
Approval.
I don't know. Wasn't it something like he had some promo in the beginning, Roman Reigns did, about how this isn't his yard, it's his island or something like that? Didn't that have something to do with it?
Well, isn't Heyman calling him the tribal chief or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, maybe that has to do with it, but it's still there was nothing Samoan about that street fight. It was just a street fight. It was just like, that's a cool idea for a match, to have it like if you can throw all kinds of like cultural weapons into it and like make it like Island of Samoa sort of like authenticity sort of thing. Like that,
You're gonna have fire dancers around the ring.
yeah, that'd be great. Like,
Basically, what you're saying.
The old TNA days where they had those cage dancers in the entranceway. They have that, except where it's fire dancers and they're spinning fire. Whoa. But like, remember the Usos used to do the oh, and they didn't even do any of that. Like that, it felt like they just threw the word Samoan out there because they're Samoan, and it's not. It didn't feel right.
I guess technically it's not. I don't know. But they did it, and they're Samoan. So I guess if they didn't have a problem with it, I'm not going to have a problem with it either.
Yeah, I guess it's not my place. It's not my place.
All right.
Really have. They should have had some Momoa there. They should.
All right. We're about that time, man. What do we got going on this week, folks? What do we Mark, are you plugging anything?
No.
Cory, what are you?
I'm watching the Eagles just absolutely be terrible. That's all.
Cory, what do you got?
I don't really have anything, honestly. I'd say, like the same stuff I always say. Check out Evolving with Cory Castle. New episodes drop every Monday at noon. I just recorded my 202nd episode. That's on my YouTube page, but like nobody watches the YouTube videos as much. But the new episodes come out audio on Apple Podcasts and Spotify every Monday, and I'm definitely not caught up with the audio. The audio episodes are backed up until like November. So, if you want early access, check out my YouTube channels. Just type in Cory Castle and you'll find me. And, if you want to interact with us in any way, absolutely always feel free to do that. Absolutely always feel free to let us know you exist. Give us any feedback, comment on anything that we talk about. And, if you want to fact check us, and if you want to drop some information on us that we maybe got wrong in the episodes, absolutely put them in the comments below. And, we'll read them on the air next week if you want. And,
sure.
Yeah. Demand better of yourself. Honestly, I think that's like the big message I have to say for other wrestlers, because I'm speaking right now as a wrestler who has nothing. Like, I don't have a savings. I've never made a living from this business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys have the opportunity at this point to demand better for yourselves. Do that. Do that for the sake of other people who have given their lives and gotten nothing.
I say demand better from us. I say leave us some comments down in the comment box below. Tell us what you want to see, man. Tell us what you want to hear. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can all do together. Let's see how we can make this a better show and have a very Merry Christmas. Or
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
It's September.
I know. Eventually we're having very Merry Christmas. I'm smacking my microphone. I'm gonna talk about something real quick. There's a show that Cory and myself did yesterday. Cory wrestled Killian Dain. I was on comedy.
I've never wrestled Killian Dain before. It was Killian McMurphy.
You're right. My bad. This is Austin Theory all over again. Killian
on that one.
Thank you. That would have been terrible. People tuning in to watch you versus Killian Dain. It's like, who's this skinny Irish guy? Yeah, Cory wrestled Killian McMurphy. I was on commentary through the whole show, hosting the whole event. It was a benefit for the family of a man named Big Slam, who, if you're on the independents, especially on the East Coast here in America, you're going to know who that is. He was in the business for several decades, and tragically he died last month. So we're raising money for him.
The show. He would always, when we recorded in the studio in West Deptford, he would always be like, "Hey, I'm gonna come by. And then he would just never show up. But he always said he was gonna come by.
It was one of those guys. He always wanted to be here. He was there. He was always here in spirit.
Yeah.
But yes, we did the show yesterday. If you want to check it out, go to Twitch, look up Super Fight Wrestling. You can see the live stream that we did. It was a really good show. 7 matches. It all got done really quick. It was the most sanitary event I've ever been to. There was only a couple people in the crowd that came with the wrestlers, and they were all socially distanced. The ring was wiped down after every match. We had this big open. It was inside, but it was like a big garage door that was opened up. So we weren't all trapped inside, all breathing the same air and everything. Everybody was wearing masks. We weren't allowed to wear shoes, which was weird. And somebody threw up on my foot wearing socks. That was fantastic. But it was
Somebody threw up on your foot?
Yeah. What's his name? Goldstein. Mike Goldstein was wrestling Grey Wolf, and he just turned around and right where I was standing, just puked right at my feet. And I'm like, I'm so glad you told me.
How is that not a viral video? That's I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all.
I don't know if the cameraman got it, but yeah, he definitely. Yeah, it's very, very disgusting.
Watch that just to see if that shows up.
There's a couple things that happened at that show, man. Grey Wolf gripped me up because I wasn't looking at him while he was talking. It was there was a whole bunch of stuff on that show, so definitely check it out, man. It's live. It's on Twitch right now. Look up Super Fight Wrestling, and it's all for a good cause, man. Give to the charity. The charity is down in the description of that video. Also, check out my YouTube channel. Like I plug it every week, but I'm going to plug it again. It's tinyurl.com/YouTube Rick Connor. That's spelled Connor because I spell it correctly. Also, check out the other podcast that I do with Mark's sister. It's called It's Something to Do. It's on Apple Podcasts and wherever you listen to podcasts. It's a very good show. We're almost wrapping up Reaper finally. After like 6 months of doing Reaper, we're finally coming to the end. What else do I have? I'm missing something. What am I forgetting? The Teespring shop. Yes, teespring.com. Thanks for reminding me. Teespring.com/stores/rassle-rock. That's where you can get all our merchandise. Everything on there is connected to a charity. And that'll about do it. I'm out of breath, and I think I lost my voice here doing this. That'll about do it for this episode of Wrestle Rock. I'm Rick Connor.
Mark Habacher.
Cory Castle.
And let's take it out like we always do with Mr. Nick Burke.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Join us again for another episode of Wrestle Rock. This has been Jay Davis speaking.
Sabbatical.